What if DOC never got into that car accident? What if Ice Cube didn't leave NWA? What if the game never leaves G Unit? What if Teddy Riley never moves to Virginia? What if we got that J. Cole and Kendrick album? What if the RZA would have never had that flood? How would the hip hop world sound today? Welcome to Hip Hop What Ifs, the podcast where we dive into the biggest what could have beens in hip hop history. From iconic album delays to game-changing partnerships that never happened, we reimagine the culture we love and explore its alternative paths. And you are now at Hip Hop What Ifs.
When you look at the military thing with No Limit, with the camouflage, my grandfather always told me, because he fought in the Vietnam War, and he said, son, they were supposed to give me 10 grand when I come back so I could go put down payment on the house, and they didn't do it. So he said, son, you have to start your own army. You have to get your own business. And that's where my company came from, No Limit. And that's where the whole camouflage came from. My grandpa, the Big Daddy, Claude Miller. And so that's how I built my brand. With the whole camouflage and the No Limit thing, No Limit Soldiers, that's where it started from. And then my grandfather passed, I was with him, and he died in the VA hospital where they gave him some blood thinning medicine for another patient. And so my grandmother ended up getting $280,000 on a life insurance thing, and she gave everybody in the family $10,000. I took my $10,000 and opened up No Limit Records, the retail store.
At 19.
At 19.
Welcome back to Hip Hop What Ifs, the show where we discuss the different scenarios of hip hop in a what if fashion. Kyle, how you been doing, my brother?
Good, man. Good to be back on, man. Ready to talk a little hip hop.
Yeah. This one's gonna be interesting, man, because this one this is one that I understand peripherally because, and maybe even you too a little bit because of my location with this one. And this one is, what if Master P did not start No Limit Records? It's an interesting one because this one can go a lot of different directions, because
no doubt.
The No Limit's origin story has 15 different origin stories depending on who you talk to. Some people say it started in Richmond, California. Some people say it started in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Some people say it started in New Orleans. And then some people say it started in Houston. Depending on who you talk to of the germination of the label and when P got it together. But the one that I believe everyone really goes by is that P was up there messing around in Richmond, California, and had owned a record store there, and decided to start a label out of Richmond. So that's normally the story with it. But from there, Master P decides, you know what, I can do this. I can rap. I'm trying to find rappers. I can rap. He drops The Devil's Trying to Kill Me. Then they drop hold on, let me just pull up No Limit releases. So I believe his The Devil Trying to Kill Me is the first one, the first No Limit album. Get Away Clean is the first one, 91. Then wow. Master P drops Mama's Bad Boy, 92. Then The Real Untouchables, which was a group with his brothers in them. Who's the Killer comes out. Then 94, The Ghetto's Trying to Kill Me comes out. That's what I was talking about. Then 1995, 99 Ways to Die. And those are all independent out of Richmond, California, basically. It was a label he started out of Richmond, California. All of those are based out there, maybe somewhat in New Orleans. But then so the label relocated to New Orleans in 95, it claims here. And then we get TRU, True. Then we get the one the breakthrough one that I think is the one that kind of like put him on, like, not necessarily a national map, but a Midwest Southern map, is Master P, the Ice Cream Man.
Yep. That was the one.
That's the one. That, I mean, then because then it's so messy with the Master P biography, because then he's got beef with the Loonies and like a lot of the Bay Area cats because they had the Ice Cream Man up there before, and then they feel that he was up there with kicking it with them and then brought it down south and start calling himself Mr. Ice Cream Man. And they may have a point, because I don't know if you remember, like Drew Down and all, was like, they remember they had a video with the ice cream truck and everything. But maybe it's Can You Feel Me? It might be, it's either Can You Feel Me or Mac of the Year. I can't remember. But they used to, the Loonies and Drew Down and some of those Oakland cats were using that. But After that, he drops the Mia X's album, Good Girl Gone Bad, which was starting to pop.
Yep.
Then this one, maybe it wasn't the big one. Yeah. It's got to be it's the big one. It's the TRU True to the Game album.
True to the Game.
Because it's got, I believe,
I think that one had No Limit Soldiers on it. I think.
Yes. That one had No Limit Soldiers on it. I'm pulling it up here just to run through it. This way I could click on them. So before that, he came out with a West Coast Bad Boys album, West Coast Bad Boys Volume 1 in 94. Mm-hmm. He came out an EA Ski album. Producer EA Ski dropped the album on him in 92. Dangerous Dame. I'm trying to just go through some people that are known. Down South Hustlers came out in 95 as well. And I believe Down South Hustlers had what song did they have on there that people was bumping? Maybe it wasn't this one. One of them down, Bounce That Ass.
Yep, I remember that.
I knew that one of them Down South Hustlers had that.
For sure.
Yeah, so Ice Cream Man, like I said, and then Silk the Shocker drops right after that. Ice Cream Man, then Silk the Shocker. Cain and Abel drops after that.
Right.
True TRU West Coast Bad Boys 2, which had a dedication to Tupac on there. A couple other albums like Another Mia X, Mr. Servon, Mystical, and Ghetto D dropped back to back.
Ghetto D.
Those are the two that took them into mainstream success. You feel the same way? Like where it wasn't just a Midwest South thing. When Ghetto D and Mystical's album dropped, Unpredictable. Ghetto D, for everybody we know, Make Them Say is on there, and that's the one that you all know. If you're not from the South or the Midwest,
you know that one, yeah, for sure. Yeah, man, it's funny, man. You took me back, just kind of reminiscing on some of those albums. I think my introduction to like even some of those earlier 90s albums, I never heard those albums. I knew that they existed many years later, but Ice Cream Man was probably the first one that I can remember because he had a video for it. And the hook, and I just remember seeing it on BET, and I was like, man, who is this clown? Because
then you're like, is he taken from Dre and them when that was the beat? Ice Cream Man had the beat from World Class Wrecking Crew.
Yeah, Before You Turn Off the Lights. And so I was like, man, who is this dude? And it was just weird. And I was like, okay. And I sat and watched the video. But more than anything else, you could tell that if nothing else, he didn't lack for confidence. Like, because he meant every bar he was spitting. He came off as very confident, swag, whatever you want to call it. And that always stood out to me. And then subsequently, I think maybe about a year or so later, I started hearing about, some of the music that was coming out of their camp. And I think the TRU album with No Limit Soldiers, that's probably the first time that they really popped up on my radar. And then after that, the tank was rolling.
Oh, yeah, the tank was rolling. and the thing about the tank was they was always good for that first song that'd be a posse track.
Oh,
that'll get the party hype.
Oh, yeah. And I think, and I know we're going to talk about this, but one of the things that, stood out obviously about No Limit was the fact that they constantly had music coming. They did not, Master P did not believe in the archaic idea of structure as to how you're supposed to do by industry standards. You put out an album, you release a single, you shoot a video, you release another single, then you tour that album, for 6 months or whatever. You get back in the studio. That was the formula, and rap's formula was changing, but that was the formula for making songs. And, the idea of putting out an album in January and then putting out another album in August of the same year, that was unheard of, not just from one particular artist, but from a label. Because the thing that label executives would tell people is that you don't want to oversaturate your market. You don't want to make people get tired of you quickly. And we had never seen anything like that in rap before, where a label more
we'll never see it
specifically.
again. And
We'll never see that again. I mean, because shout out to the in-house production team, Beats by the Pound.
Beats by the Pound, KLC.
They had music. I mean, like they literally, folks, when people joke about Master P and No Limit releasing an album every other week, it's not a lie. They literally were doing
They
it.
released 24 albums in 98. I just counted it just to give you the number while you were.
That is crazy.
24 albums dropped in 98.
In the existence of Rockefeller Records, I don't think they got 28. Without looking it up, I don't think they got 28 albums.
No,
so
I don't even have to look at it. I'm almost positive they don't have 28 albums. I don't even look. The only rap label that would have more than them would be Def Jam.
Yeah, that's it. Because think about it. Bad Boy didn't have that many.
Nope.
Death Row didn't have that many.
Maybe Sick With It. Maybe Sick With It with E40, and then maybe
you probably could combine the albums from Death Row and Bad Boy, and you still not get 28 albums.
Yeah, and they did that in a year, ladies and gentlemen.
They did that in a year, and we're talking about a 5, 6, 7 year span of Bad Boy and Death Row, two of the biggest labels, of the time. But yeah, they were kicking it out, and the great thing about the guerrilla marketing that he used was the fact that, to your point, D, there was always a posse cut, and so you were constantly being introduced to people. And so if Silk the Shocker album was coming out, you got a chance to hear Mia X on his album. And then if her album was next, you got a chance to hear Mr. Serve on. And then if his album was next, like, so you were constantly being introduced to different players on the team. And they did it, man. I mean, like, there are very few people who can say that Master P wasn't successful, because he really was. And by the time that he reached his peak as far as success, you couldn't say that he did it wrong, because he did it his way. And because nobody had done it before, record labels would try to tell him, like, no, you can't do this. And he was like, who are you to tell me that I can't do it? This is the way that we do it. We do it the No Limit way. And that tank was rolling for a long time. And
look, the paltry year for them after they blew up in 95 is 96. They dropped 4 albums that year. And that was the paltry year.
Right.
Like, yeah, I mean, and actually 96, they blew up more. That's Master P, Ice Cream Man drops in 96. So after 96, 97, they dropped 9 albums.
And even if you think about it, like, the biggest hit from the label is Make 'Em Say, and that was a song that everybody's on that song.
Yeah, it's
everybody. So, I mean, like, that song was everywhere.
I think another one may be creeping up on another No Limit song.
What's that?
Down for My Niggas may be creeping up on Make 'Em Say, I'm just saying, as time goes on, I'm just saying.
No doubt.
That's what I mean. I'm not saying now, but like, you hear, I don't know. You hear them horns. It gets people
okay.
going.
So here's the difference. Here's where I'll say the difference is. The difference, it's a subtle difference, but Make 'Em Say got play on MTV.
Yes.
Major play on MTV.
Yes, very true.
And when he had that video, you would see Make 'Em Say on MTV, as much as we saw it on BET. And that was unheard of for most.
It might have been on TRL or something like that.
Yeah. Particularly for artists like that who wasn't, a Prince or a Michael Jackson. And Make 'Em Say it's not a pop record. It's not a record that should get any play on MTV. And folks, when I say it got play on MTV, I'm not talking about on Yo MTV Raps, which it did,
or MTV Jams.
I'm talking about TRL. Like, it was one of the most requested songs of the day, that type of stuff. So yeah, it was like I said, the tank was rolling. When it was rolling, it was rolling.
And it was a perfect storm to a certain extent, because Mystical had just got on the label. And at the time, sans what he's done in his life now,
right.
he was like an underground hip hop Southern anomaly, especially from his first album, The Mind of Mystical.
Yep.
With Beware, where you talk, that was a whole beef song. I didn't know it was a beef song when I heard it until like later on, like get
Mm-hmm.
older, and they like, oh no, he dissing Juvenile and them, his group called UNLV. I was like, there was a diss song, but There I Go. What was the what you know what was the first single off that Mind the Mystical? Because it was, I don't know, for some reason that album broke through out the South and came up to the Midwest before Master P. That was one of the first New Orleans rappers I heard of was Mystical. He was, I believe he was the first New Orleans rapper.
And I'll tell you why, because to your point about it being a perfect storm, rap at the time, hip hop at the time was starting to expand. So it was starting to get outside of the regions because, and I know you experienced this in St. Louis, you know, we had our regional acts. Mm-hmm. And so everybody had their own region. So the music that you mentioned earlier of the No Limit era, those songs probably were just, album probably got played a lot around Richmond, California, and in New Orleans, Baton Rouge area, Louisiana. But by the mid to late 90s, rap starts expanding. And so now, not only is rap expanding, because we know we got Big, we got Pac, we got all of these other artists, but the South was expanding. And so there was a swell of interest of people wanting to hear Southern rappers. And Atlanta was bubbling because of obviously Outkast. But New Orleans was, I don't want to say it came out of nowhere, but their sound was so different than what we
they were known for
before.
Bounce music mostly, not
rap.
Yeah.
And bounce music is something that is specific to that region. So if you don't go to that region, maybe you don't even hear bounce music at all, right? Mm-hmm. So as that was pushing, I remember I moved here to Atlanta in 1997. The summer of 97, 98, those summers, Master P and No Limit damn near ran the radio, along with, in Atlanta rap. Yeah. And we got a radio station here. It was Hot 97 at the time. And it was all hip hop station, the first in the city. And they constantly played No Limit. And No Limit got so much love, so much airplay, as much as they could play. But no, it was a push. It was a push to hear that music. And as Southern artists gained traction, we saw labels like No Limit and then subsequently Cash Money take off. So, but No Limit, when I'll say it again, the tank was on. It was on tilt for real.
The tank, Master P was doing all kind of stuff, y'all. Like they was doing comedy shows. They was doing movies.
Yep.
I think they owned, it was like a No Limit gas station.
Do you remember
ships?
Do you remember in the Source magazine, they would have the Pixel album covers?
Pixel album covers, to let you know what's coming out.
Yeah. So like Mercedes, like I've never heard Mercedes' album, but we all know that her album cover is classic. You know what I mean?
Rear end. Look, we've been trying to figure out album names for albums that we love, but we knew that Mercedes album.
You listen.
And we ain't never even listened to it.
I think I may have heard 2 tracks off that album.
And one of them is actually on another album, but then they repurposed it and put it on her album for, again, it's from the 504 Boys. You Ain't Gotta Say So Much with Mac. That's not on our album originally.
Listen, Mercedes could walk in here with a Mercedes jersey on. I still would know who she was. But I know that album cover.
I remember I ended up seeing her music video for one of the songs on the album on the box. This is towards the end of the box's reign.
Okay.
Or whatnot. And I was like, oh, I definitely will be picking this up. Y'all should have just tried to get me on the album off of spec. Y'all played yourself. Y'all should have got me to get this off spec. But if Master P did not do this with No Limit, where do you think Southern rap would be? New Orleans rap and hip hop as a whole?
I think Southern rap still finds its way to the masses because at this point it was coming from every direction. It was coming from Atlanta, it was coming from Miami, it was coming from Houston. It was still going to come from New Orleans, maybe not at the same juncture because shortly thereafter, like I mentioned, you had Cash Money coming through. it meant everything to New Orleans because P and the rest of the No Limit crew, their sound, how they sound, and then those they were very they were like hood superstars, very accessible. So from what I understand from my people that I knew that lived in New Orleans, like it would be nothing to see them, in the hood. It wasn't like, you could see it wasn't like Mia X got a record deal and she moved, to I don't know, Alabama somewhere. They were very accessible and P was still around. Um and so their success I don't think hurt them, at all. And so I think it was big for New Orleans, it was big for the South. And it was big for Master P, obviously. I tell people this all the time, and there's a I want to say it's the Source magazine. There's a cover, and on the cover of the Source, it's Master P, it's Russell Simmons, and it's Puff. And those are the three men. And so they're talking about executives. And the article focused on all three, but the one who wasn't supposed to be there was Master P. Because if you think about it, Russell Simmons had already had Def Jam. And he had
the first rap group. He managed the first rap group.
Exactly. I mean, he had Run DMC, Exactly. And then you think about Puff. Puff, he started off as an intern at I can't remember the name of the record label he started. But he started there as an intern, then he moved up, and then he got Bad Boy. But P came out of nowhere. Literally and figuratively came out of nowhere. People had not heard of Richmond, California. Obviously, people know about New Orleans, but they didn't take, that deep of South rap serious. And there were a lot of people who didn't, who especially from the North, who tried to front on P and, No Limits music, but you couldn't front on it. It was hot, it was infectious, and it was gonna make you jam. And they had so much music that it got to a point, D, where you couldn't even hate on it because it was just so much music. Like you could say, "Oh, I ain't really rocking with Silk." Well, you ain't rocking with Silk, but you gonna listen to Mr. Servo. Mr. Servo got a dope ass album. Or I ain't listening to Mercedes. You might not listen to Mercedes, but you're gonna listen to Mia X because she got bars. And so even if you fast forwarded to last year's verses, I remember when people when they kind of kicked around the idea of the fact that it was going to be a versus between No Limit and Cash Money. I was like, yeah, it's not going to be close because
I mean, it was a lot of factors needed to go in there for that.
Yeah, and now I mean, yeah, obviously if Wayne had showed up, it was going to be different or whatever like that. But the difference is that they don't play. They make very high energy music. And you're gonna jump around, you're gonna bounce, you're gonna have a good time, and they got hits. You can't front on No Limit. They got hit. I mean, even something as simple as No Limit Soldiers, that song still jams. That song's almost like 20, 25 years old.
Yeah, so it goes hard, man.
It goes to this day. So and that's no knock on Cash Money, because I think Cash Money came through and they had a whole different sound. And but rap, Southern rap would look and feel totally different had Master P not been who he became. It would have existed, but I don't know if it would have existed in the manner in which we know it now.
I will give P this. He brought the hustling aspect to
no doubt
the record label side of the game. Now I have my critiques of him as well. Because I think he also brought the Funky Finger Productions aspect to the game as well. He didn't bring it, but I always say that, man, Master P is a brilliant man. But he's also like Funky Finger Productions. If they got one, they things they talked about, like if one of them popped, we'd have called them geniuses. That's how I feel that Master P is sometimes. Because he be having 55, 60 business, he's not focused. It's never I got the Ferragamo shoes. I got the movie, and I'm not, and there's nothing wrong diversifying.
Nothing wrong.
Comments jump up, but there is somewhat of a lack of focus.
Well, what it comes down to is it's the idea, the mindset of we're gonna throw it all up against the wall and see what sticks.
And and you know what? And it goes back to having 28 albums in 1 year, 1998.
Yeah, I mean, Somebody, I mean,
Good
bro, if
point.
we put out 28 albums, somebody gonna have a hit. You're not gonna put out 28 duds. I mean, the sheer numbers are gonna tell you that something's gonna land with people. And the thing is, fans were so brand conscious that if you bought Mr. Serv-On's album, you probably gonna buy Mia X's album. If you bought Mia X's album, you probably gonna buy Cain and Abel's album, and so forth and so on. It's just down the line. Now, whether or not those albums were good or not, you'd figure that out later. But at that particular time, you know, and they really preached the idea of this is a label, this is a unit, this is a community. So you almost felt obligated to do that. So if you bought Master P's album, you're gonna buy the true album because he on the album. You know, if you bought Mystikal's album, you're probably gonna buy Mr. Serv-On's album, and so forth and so on. And like I said, they kept producing so much music and they kept promoting it. I don't think, you know, somebody like Russell Simmons or Puffy, they may not have agreed with the way that P did it, but you can't argue with the results, and he got results.
And he knew he had a region to have his back too, though.
For sure.
If he could just tap into that, and you could use that Louisiana, the wind up in Louisiana push you forward to take you to that next level. So that's what they were banking on, you know.
Oh,
and that's
no doubt.
The thing that they were that he knew. He was like, yo, if I can just get my city and my state behind me, and everything else is gonna fall into place. Mississippi's gonna roll,
right?
You know, Alabama's gonna roll, Texas is gonna roll, and then it's kind of it's a snowball effect from that point.
And if you think about it, like when you think about particularly some of the smashes from those albums that were created on No Limit, they aren't pop records. You know, they aren't pop records at all. I mean, you take a song like from Mystical, like Here I Go, that's not there's nothing that would get you played on MTV for that or pop radio.
But if you put on the club,
exactly, it's going up. It's going up. And so, you know, you could make a case, okay, probably their biggest pop record is probably their biggest hit, but I still won't call, you know, Make Them Say a pop song, because he said make them say nah. I mean, you'll never confuse Master P with Rakim when it comes to lyrics.
Right. Yeah.
So, but definitely. he was very, very strategic, man. Very strategic. You got to salute the P, man, because he had a plan and he worked it efficiently, you know.
Yeah, it's just interesting if you think about it. Like, I don't think we get Cash Money if P doesn't come through.
No,
they owe. I mean, I know they had their small little beef or whatever, and shout out to them. They're going on tour. Coming up.
Yep. Go see them if they come to your town. Go see because I think
I don't know about that part. I know the last time they came through to St. Louis, they rolled over everybody cash.
Oh Lord. So do you don't think that No Limit and Cash Money put on a good tour?
No.
I think they'll put on a good
tour. No, it's more of the No Limit side. Even though they did great in the verses and like the performance,
you
like
don't think
they
can
were
sustain that
stuff like that. Like it. But you know what? I take that back because I know Juvenile is a constant professional.
Yeah.
So is Manny Fresh. So you'll get that side and it'll be super dope. And I'm not saying No Limit can, because No Limit can have a dope professional. And maybe that was early when they first was getting a reunion together. So maybe I would go check them out.
I'm wondering if Wayne's gonna be on that tour.
No, he's not. No,
okay.
He's not.
Well, no. There you go.
He don't even remember if he goes to be on tour. You know what I'm saying? Like,
man, Wayne's still trying.
Did you see that thing where he canceled a tour date?
I saw that. Did it end up at somebody's video or something like that?
No, he went to the dude that owns the Phillies white party.
Oh, Mike
Rubin.
What's his name? Rubin. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Hey man, like I say about it with him all the time, man. I think Wayne is a phenomenal MC, one of the best to ever do it. But when he raps, he's superb. When he's motivated, we just don't know when he's motivated.
Yeah. And when is he gonna rap?
Yeah, and you know, substance abuse. I mean, like you could see it. I mean, so it's they probably. I don't know if they could probably trust Wayne on a tour to be there night in and night out.
People they could up the ticket prices, doing more expectations, all that if they start saying if they say that Wayne gonna be there.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. Because I mean, he's got a catalog by himself that will put on a show. But the flip side of it is that it's not just you; it's Cash Money. If you mess up, you messing up everybody's money. So I get that part of it too. But if they come here to Atlanta, I check them out. I mean, if the tickets ain't crazy, I'll check them out. I'll definitely check them out.
So do you think with P? So do you think Atlanta rap benefited from P, his explosion, or it was just a compliment to it? To Atlanta and the Georgia Atlanta sound?
Probably both, because they really started to crack around the same time.
The I Only Listen to 90s Music podcast is a show for 80s babies who were 90s kids. If you were a No Limit soldier, then this is your show. If you believe that Cash Money is not an army but was a Navy, this is the show for you. If you and your friends ever tried to sing a song written by Escape, In Vogue, Shy, or Boyz II Men at a talent show during middle school, this is your show. The I Only Listen to 90s Music podcast is a bunch of 80s babies talking about all the songs and things that we loved when we were kids and teenagers. So if you went to the skating rink and you were at a lock-in, this is the show for you. If you think that Tevin Campbell was the original Prince of R&B, this is the show for you. If you don't understand the conflict between Monica and Brandy, but you're kind of on Monica's side and understand why Brandy got punched, this is the show for you. Make sure that you tune in, subscribe, click the little subscribe link. We're here. We're going to talk about all things 90s music. This is the show for you.
It's been out for a while or what have you, but like I said, it was literally like a snowball. Because after all of that stuff that happened in the Source Awards, a line was drawn in the sand, and Killer Mike talked about how Atlanta kind of rebelled and said, okay, we're gonna just strictly do our music. It was that to some degree, but what happened was that Southern rappers really, more than any other time before, and not to say that they didn't before, but Southern rappers really took pride in being from the South. And so now we got our own thing. So we don't have to depend on a Jay-Z. We don't have to try to sound like a Run DMC. We can sound like, Cujo Goody can sound like Cujo Goody. He ain't got to worry about being accepted in, Queens. And so when your own people support you, and then that was another thing too, was like, there was particularly here in Atlanta, there was always support locally. There was always everybody. If you had a Goody Mob video, you'd have David Banner show up. You'd have T.I. show up. You'd have everybody coming through. Yeah, everybody would come through. It wasn't a whole lot of inner city beef. I think the first inner city beef that I can remember was, Jeezy and Gucci. And that was years later. And then they eventually kind of, because just like any other city, Atlanta's a big city, but it ain't that big, particularly when it comes to music. So you're going to run in the same circles. But I think P's influence, I think it helped, but it all kind of, it happened at the same time. Almost all of it happened at the same time. That run of the mid to late 90s, early 2000s, it became cool and became popular to be from the South. And subsequently, that was when the torch was passed from New York to Atlanta. And you can make a case that Atlanta has held that torch for the better part of the last 20, 25 years or so. And
I think right now it's in an interim title phase. I don't think nobody's got it. I think
nobody's got it now. I mean,
I think it's like vacated. Nobody's got the title.
It can go. I think I could see it going back and forth between Atlanta and LA, or Atlanta and the South and the West. I don't know if it's ever going back to New York. No. And I did an episode about that. New York, they got to get it together, and that's the difference between the Southern rap acts and the Northern rap acts, was that there was always some type of beef, always something going on. And, you can get, 7 Wu-Tang dudes to come together and do a song or do a video and come to a video shoot. But, if Wu-Tang's doing a video, the Locks ain't showing up. They're not pulling up, DMX, rest in peace. If he's shooting a video or he's has something going on, LL ain't showing up. New Yorkers are just, and I don't want to.
But I felt like they did before at one point though. You would get a lot of cameos and videos.
You did, but it was.
I'm not think about One More Chance with Biggie. It was a lot of cameos.
Well, I mean, but that was Biggie. So Biggie was a guy who I think Biggie was a guy who probably Puff more so than Biggie was a guy.
Puff, this is pre all the stuff we knew, y'all. So just bear with the cow here.
Puff was somebody who could bring. Puff was somebody who could bring people together. Puff was a unifier back in his day.
Yes.
I don't know what happened, but he was somebody who could bring people together. And I think, and it's no knock because I grew up on East Coast hip hop. That's where my hip hop roots started. But New York they lost the title. And I just don't know. I mean, and you're gonna have great artists. Don't get me wrong, because I think I can make a case that Nas is greatest MC right now, period. And he's from New York. But no, is New York coming back? Not like that. No. And New York is known for lyricism. And if you look around, I mean, like today's rap isn't based on lyricism. The hottest dude in the game is a singer from Canada. So I mean, do with that.
That's what there's no region, like you said.
No, there's no region. I mean, so so like you said, it's temporarily on hold. I get the babies and little babies and Gunners and all that Future. I get all of that stuff, but they're not MCs. They're really good rappers, but they're not MCs. They make good songs, but it's a different day and time. So I don't know.
Can you argue that between the Master P's, the Babies, and the Diddies, that they shaped hip hop where the label owners start being on the tracks? Previously, before that, if you own a label, you weren't on the tracks.
Yeah,
Russell Simmons, Suge Knight.
Listen, money changed everything. Money probably was the biggest influence, because there was a point in time, like when I first started listening, I really started listening to hip hop in like 1983. I was like 11 years old. People just rap. They literally just rap to hear themselves be on the radio. And the coolest thing that you could do is get a record deal. Nobody cared about making money. But then by the time you roll into the 90s, early 90s, and you started, we can make money now? And then you had a lot of artists like one of my favorite groups, Tribe Called Quest, who, didn't make a lot of money, relatively speaking, based on what they, because sampling, De La ran into the same thing. Like I saw a thing the other day where they talked about the song "Can I Kick It." Mm-hmm. Tribes never made a dime off that song, never,
because of the publishing.
So so it was like that. And then so by the time we got to the mid to late 90s, record labels were giving people distribution. I mean, we remember Cash Money got like a $30 million distribution deal. Now, what you and I know is that's a line of credit, but still, to give somebody $30 million to make albums. And so, then we saw, people like Jay-Z become presidents and all of this stuff. And these big budget videos, Wu-Tang spent $1 million for the Triumph video. And so
Diddy spent like the most for that doggone Godzilla video.
Which one? The
Godzilla one where he was on. It was the Rock Godzilla video, song he tried to do.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah.
So like I said, just money coming into the picture changed everything.
It's called "Come With Me." It's on the Godzilla soundtrack.
Okay.
1998.
Yeah. Money changed everything. Money changed everything. So that was the equalizer, and then slowly but surely, the fans started flocking, and then we had it was some dominoes to fall. Money came involved, and then we had file sharing like Napster, and then once that happened, the record labels couldn't catch up, and the record labels are still behind because we have streaming now, and nobody can tell you how much a stream is worth. So if you told me that Drake's most latest album streamed 300 million streams, how much money does that earn him? We don't know, because nobody can tell you what a stream is. And, I'm pretty sure he don't even know. So money changed everything. and I don't think the technology. I don't think record labels ever caught up to the technology of where rap is, but everything from the surgence of the South to artists like P and his record label, and then subsequently, the Outcasts, and then after that, the No Limits. All of these, it was like I said, it was a snowball going downhill, and it just picked up steam, and it was a lot of money involved, and somewhere along the lines, I think the actual artistry of rapping was compromised. But we had fun, we had fun, and there was a lot of good music that came from that.
It was fun. I'll say this: it was fun. That No Limit time was fun.
It was fun. Yeah, it was fun. It was.
Now
you couldn't buy No Limit album and not have fun.
You couldn't play Bout It in clubs in St. Louis at one point. Man. It was that and Tear the Club Up.
Tear the Club Up.
That and Tear the Club Up was outlawed, man. Like those was you couldn't do it, man. You couldn't do Bout It or Tear the Club Up. And then people just couldn't do it.
Go ahead.
No, you couldn't do it. You couldn't do it at all. And then you gotta give Pete credit. He did drop movies though, too, man. Mm-hmm. He did do I Got the Hook Up. He did what was the movie? The one he did was based on his brother. What was the name of that movie?
The Brother That's Dead, or the Brother That's
remember the Brother That's Dead. It was the first one that kind of blew them up on that level with the
I don't think I've ever seen a Master P movie. I
think
I saw maybe 30 minutes of I Got the Hook Up.
Oh shoot. What was the name of that movie? It's About It. Shit. Okay. The movie. About the actual movie. So that
it was different. It was different.
Yeah, I'm About It, the movie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, they got it online? Damn. They got it on YouTube. If you would like to watch it.
Pete did a lot, man. He did a lot. And you can't deny his contributions to the game. You can't deny what he did and the path that he laid for a lot of people, and he opened a lot of doors. I don't think he gets the credit that he probably should, and he gets a lot of credit, but for as much as we talk about Puff outside of the BS that Puff has been involved in, when you talk about rap moguls, he's right there. P is right there with Puff. He's not as celebrated, but he probably should be.
Yeah, he should be definitely celebrated more. I think people forget about it because he wasn't necessarily flashy. He was.
Mm-hmm.
He was. I'm trying to give a description for him because he didn't lack confidence. He gonna floss on you, but he just. I don't know. It didn't. The equity didn't seem different per se.
And when he talked
between Puff and him.
When he talked, he wasn't like the most polished of speakers,
right?
But you understood what he was saying, and again, he wasn't necessarily going to compromise anything on because what he did for himself and his label worked, and so the suits couldn't tell him much. They could either try to get in business with him or watch him do business without them.
Yeah, P is an anomaly, man, and
very much
he should be studied to a certain extent, man.
And he played basketball.
He played basketball. That's what I'm saying. He did so much stuff, man. Y'all don't understand. P did. I think he might did baseball too or something. I don't know.
P was the last cut of the. Now I don't know necessarily if he was the last cut because he was that good, but he was the last cut of the Charlotte Hornets at one point.
Yeah, and then he got another trial with the Raptors, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, and he played at
I don't necessarily know how good he was, but he was. And I think if we look back on it, maybe they probably kept him on the team, because think about it. How many people are going to see preseason NBA basketball? Not a lot. But if Master P, your favorite rapper, is playing, you're probably gonna go to the game. He put up some numbers, But you can't front on P, man. You can't front on P. You can't front on the Tank.
Yeah, because P, man, P was y'all understand. P was like you said, he owned gas stations randomly. He owned. It was just all kind of stuff. Somebody needs to do a montage of all the Master P ventures.
At the very least, there should be a documentary.
Yeah, I mean, I know they did a No
biopic.
Limit one. I'm talking about a Master P one.
Yeah, a biopic of Master P. And doing all of that, considering that his.
And think about, he was savvy enough to sign something I forgot, but he was savvy enough to sign Snoop Dogg too. People sleep
Snoop
on how savvy he was to do that.
Snoop will tell you that him signing there saved his life, because he said he was going to get into some street shit with Suge and them, and he was basically said he was broke.
Yeah,
which you wouldn't think about it, because we saw Snoop in the videos and stuff like that, but he was like, after he left that, bro, he didn't have much. He said P set him up with some businesses, got him a house, a couple cars, and the stuff was in his name. It wasn't like when he was with Death Row and it was in Death Row.
It was all in Suge name, baby.
It was
all that stuff.
This stuff was in his name, and so he gave Snoop a chance to be not only an artist on the label but a partner. And he said he's forever grateful for it. He still talks about Snoop still talks glowingly about Master P to this day.
Because he needed them down south Georgia, not down south, them down south boys, Louisiana boys that had protection. You can talk all that LA shit you want to. Try to go over there and fuck with them Geechees down there. They'll fuck you up.
At that point, I think for a while, Snoop was in New Orleans. He wasn't even living in LA. He wasn't going back and forth to LA at that time.
Master P also had a sports management company that had Ricky Williams sign the worst rookie contract maybe in NFL history.
I forgot about that.
So remember, it was by like how many carries? It was like it was
crazy.
Super incentive laden.
Yeah, all of
nothing guaranteed.
All of the experts said like, why would you sign this contract? But Ricky Williams said he wanted to do business with somebody who's successful and another black man. I mean, so we couldn't hate on it. I mean, like I wouldn't have done it, but so even in that, man, again. The thing that you got to respect about Master P was he wasn't gonna stop trying. Like you said, hustler, true hustler. He was gonna get it however he could, and still is to this day. And I got a number of respect for it.
He is a hustler.
Number of respect for it.
He is a hustler. He got to make him say energy drink now.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Like you said, though, he just adopted the same idea of putting 28 albums out in a year to business ventures. Of like, one of them gonna pop. One of these y'all gonna like one of these ventures. Y'all gonna like
got you. And keep in mind, he did all of these things, both positive and like you said, a couple of failures, but he did all of these things under the stress and duress of also dealing with family issues. We all know his brother Kevin Miller got killed, murdered right before he got on, and then C Murder, his other younger brother, C Murder's in what he's doing, life, I think.
He's doing life without parole.
Life without parole on a murder of a young man in a club that that he still C Murder maintains to this day that he didn't do, and I think he's already been locked up probably about 20 years. So.
More than that. He's been locked up since like 2000.
Okay. I know it's been a minute.
He been locked up for a nice amount of time.
And he thought for a while, there was some conversation for a while that he might get out, but I don't think he's gonna get out,
Yeah, I don't.
And I think there's still some speculation as to whether or not, his brother did the actual shooting, but
right.
Witnesses say that he was the trigger man, but to shoot somebody in a club is crazy in and of itself. But yeah, P did all of that and still dealt with, family issues. And, over the last couple of years, I think he's gone public about, having some fallout with some other family members who feel like, that he's supposed to support that he's supposed to support their lifestyle. And he's been very open and candid about it and stuff like that. So like I said, man, you can't get me to say nothing bad about Master P, man. I got a lot
no, because don't misconstrue anybody what I'm saying here and everything.
Oh no, both of us. A lot of love and respect for P.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, a lot of love for P, man. I mean, like I said, man, he did movies with. I mean, it's amazing somewhat if you look back at what he did, even comparably to other moguls. He's done more expansive things. He's tried more things instead of staying in one box as well. Like with the make them say energy drink or whatever it may be. He, like you said, he treated his businesses like the albums. 28 albums coming out this year. 3 of them gonna pop. 3 of them gonna pop. I mean, if you look as we wrap up, I look the roster for the year, the ultimate year of 1998. There was 28 albums being dropped. 28 albums being dropped. You had Young Bleed, My Balls and My Word, which actually was a sleeper album. That's what
Young Bleed just recently passed away too, right?
I don't know if he did or not. They were like saying he's still alive.
I think he passed. If I'm not mistaken, he passed. He's the one that did How You Do That there, right?
Yeah, he passed November 1st. All right, yes.
Yeah,
November
so he passed maybe like a week or two after the verses.
Yes. But like at first they were saying like he was straight and like pray for him, and then he was like he gone. But Young Bleed is How You Do That there. And that Balls My Word album wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad.
Not at all.
Then you had Silk the Soccer Charge to the Game. I'm not gonna do the Silk the Soccer thing. See Murder, Life or Death, another sleeper No Limit album to come out at the beginning of the year. I always say C Murder's a way better rapper than Silk.
I mean, I ain't saying much, but
and then this is the first 4 albums of the year. Then he got the I Got the Hookup soundtrack. That's to start the year of 98.
Got the Hookup, Holla If You Hear Me.
And then he got Sons of Funk, as a ripoff of, I'm not gonna say ripoff, I'm gonna say it about them brothers. It's just R&B group that he had. Then you had Theme. There's one in every family. So he start this 98 year for No Limit. It's straight. And then you got Soldier Slim, Give It to Him Raw.
Like, rest in peace.
Then Master P, MP The Last Don. Okay.
Last Don.
Then we kind of Cain and Abel. Oh, Mac, Shell Shocked, which I think is the most slept on No Limit album and most slept on No Limit artist of all the artists on No Limit is Mac.
Mac is really, really dope. People don't know.
Very talented. He can rap.
He is real, real dope. Shout out to Mac.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna. Then we got Snoop, The Game Is So Not Told dropping. Then we kind of fall. The Mia X drops that year with Mama Drama. Then Mystical at the ends of the year out with Ghetto Fabulous, which has got the joint with he was doing collaboration joints with Busta Rhymes. They were going back and forth on each other's album for a while, and they did another collaboration on this album.
Okay.
And he was merging with Naughty by Nature back then too. He had Naughty by Nature on his. I mean, remember they were remember No Limit was on Naughty's album.
Yep.
So like I'm saying, like they were, and he was smart, man. I mean, I'm thinking back. I remember when he got Foxy Brown on that Mia X joint, Party Don't Stop. I was like, P smart. He's trying to already, even though it was a trash verse from Foxy Brown. It was. Y'all go re-listen to it. At the time, we were hyped because we served Foxy Brown on a No Limit song. It was just the novelty of it was like, oh, this is crazy, but she phoned that verse home. Let's get real. But he knew that if I'm gonna be able to break in and sell some of these albums on the East Coast, bringing out one of the hottest women on the East Coast or in rap period at the time, one of them on the joint, let me do this and put her on my female artist's album, and we got it. He had the vision with it, he had the vision with it. All love for P, man. The South wouldn't be the same without P. New Orleans wouldn't be the same. Even the West Coast. He did the West Coast Bad Boys and had a couple West Coast rappers on No Limit as well. So shout out to you, Master P, an Apollo legend.
Apollo legend. That's funny.
Right. Well, Kyle, where can people hit you up at, man?
Man, check out both websites, the Rap Soul podcast and the 12 Kyle podcast. You can find them. Just go to the websites. That's where you can find them. I drop new episodes every Thursday for both the Rap Soul podcast.riverside.com and the 12 Kyle podcast.riverside.com.
All right. Make sure y'all hit us on the voicemail. Give us your thoughts. What you think about the episode when it comes to Master P and the what if he'd never came out, how things would be in rap. Hit us up 314-649-3113 or emails at hiphopwhatifs@gmail.com. And we will see y'all soon. Peace.
By 1,000.
What if DOC never got into that car accident? What if Ice Cube didn't leave NWA? What if the game never leaves G Unit? What if Teddy Riley never moves to Virginia? What if we got that J. Cole and Kendrick album? What if the RZA would have never had that flood? How would the hip-hop world sound today? Welcome to Hip Hop What Ifs, the podcast where we dive into the biggest what could have beens in hip-hop history. From iconic album delays to game-changing partnerships that never happened, we reimagine the culture we love and explore its alternative paths. And you are now at Hip Hop What Ifs.